In this tutorial, I'm going to continue from the adjustment layers. I'm going to begin with discussing the color overlay, which is probably my least favorite way of changing the color of something, unless it is that you're going to try and change the color of something white. It's quite effective for that. So, to begin, I want to change the dress, let's say, to something different, like, oh, I don't know, how about red? Now, to put the color overlay on, if you simply were to go into the effects and choose color overlay, as you can see, the color overlay goes over the entire image, as it should, because this is what I've told the computer to do. But I don't want that to happen. Also, I want to be able to see through my color. So if I was to choose an area by using the quick select, and that's good enough for the purpose of what we're doing, and then choose an overlay this way, only that area that I just selected will be filled with the color of my choice. The only thing that we're coming up with is that we are seeing the entire area covered in one color, and we can't see through it. So we need to come up with something different. By changing the image to something different, or the way that the color interacts with the layer, because that's essentially what we're doing, we are going to change the way that they interact with each other. So this would be an overlay. You could choose many different things, the way that the colors will interact with each other. This is all you're telling it. I believe I prefer a linear burn. So we'll say okay here. So I'm going to Control Copy, Control Paste, and change the effects so that the effects are only on that one layer. And that's one way of doing it. And so I just grabbed a hold of the effects like this and changed it from layer to layer. As you can see. Another way of doing this would have been to, from this section, you could have Control Copy or layer via copy. And so this is the layer that I've just created, and you do the layer, or excuse me, the color overlay on top of this layer. Another way of getting to that would be to go to layer, new adjustment layer, and you could add something from here. You could do the color change or color balance from this section, or you could go to image, adjustments, and add a color overlay from this section. The next way that I'm going to show you is to mess with curves. Curves are located in the adjustments panel. Another way of getting to that would be to scroll over top of the Create a New Filler Adjustments layer, and you could click on the curves from this section, which would be right here. However, all of these things are also right here. So let's click on it from a different way, since we've already seen this way down here. If you wanted a new curves layer, you simply click on it and one is added. Now we can see the same sort of area here, which you have learned in the last video to play with the brush tool in order to choose different areas that you would like to adjust. If you don't want this area, or if you want to go back, you can simply hit the back button right here. But I do want to be in that area. What curves is describing here is that there is a graph, and the graph is of color. So it goes from dark to light and dark to light on two different axes. On these different axes, if you grab a hold of this line, it will change the color that you would like to change simply by moving things around. Okay, now, so that's not selected. That shouldn't be selected. And it's going to change everything. Once I get the dress to be an area that I want, let's just say I don't want it to be RGB. Maybe I'd like to mess with the greens in the dress. And this is more for like enhancing photos, not so much changing the color dramatically like a pink dress to a blue dress. This would be lightening things up. Oh, I like the way that looks. But I don't want the skin tone to be green. So I'm going to go back into my brushes and I'm going to make sure black is selected because I'm going to put the rest in shadows, everything but this dress right here in the curves. And I have to make sure that I'm on this layer. And that will take the skin tone and the hair and everything else that I've adjusted back to the original state that it came in from this photo. So that is using adjustment layers as well as cover overlay and a little bit of an adventure into curves.